What's up, family? Welcome back to the Stop Sinking Show, where we go from struggle to flow. I have so many different things I wanted to talk about today, but I don't think I'd be able to do them justice because of how I'm feeling in the past few days. And even though I've been sick, I've been trying to work on things and prospecting and reaching out to people. So what I want to talk about today is one of the most common objections that I've gotten so far, which the title of this episode hints at, is people making decisions for the rest of the year. And many people claim to have packed it in or have already considered and accepted their limitations or their boundaries for what the next 111 days of 2022 will be able to fruit them. And okay, a percentage of them are forward-looking and already have concrete plans for the next quarter and beyond. So I don't want to be arrogant and assume that just because they don't want to work with me, that I know for sure the exact temperament behind it. But based off of some of the responses, if I could use any little bit of energy that I have left today to share any message, it's that I'm going hard until the last day of this year. No matter how I'm feeling, the show must go on. And for the vast majority of us, I think we discount the few days left in this year and are willing to delay the starting on our grand plans until the next year. And if that's you, I can relate to you because I've been this way the majority of my life. And I'd like to share some questions I tend to ask myself that help me snap out of devaluing even one day. So if I could ask you some of these clarifying questions that I tend to pose to myself, maybe you will grow more respect for each passing day. Question 1. Do you have something, anything, actually worth working on enough to have this drive to make every day count? The memes that I see shared the most, I think come from the employee crowd, is always along the lines of pretending to work or getting in as little work as possible in a day, or just being satiated with the little effort you put into a day, just being able to get by. And let's be honest, when you are required to clock in for an 8-hour day, how many hours of actual work does the company get from you? Because between your Instagram scrolling and news reading and gossiping with your coworkers and lunch, I won't even throw meaningless meetings in there. I'll give you the credit. Like those meaningless meetings are actual work, even though we know they aren't. Studies show that we get no more than 3 hours of concentrated work in a day. And the companies that are hiring you are becoming more and more aware of this, and the productivity pay gap is widening. And this is why the biggest tech companies are now downsizing and trying to be more efficient. So the reality from question 1 is, if you have an employee mindset and you are too soon satisfied with what you call work, and although you get your bi-weekly paycheck regularly, what's happening is you're wasting your life 2 weeks at a time and fooling yourself that you're still contributing to society, that you're still a contributing member to society. But are you contributing to yourself and your life? So the answer to question 1, if you are calling it for the rest of the year and not starting any big projects, it's probably because you don't have anything worth working on enough to have the drive to last past the holidays and the weekends. And a lot of that is promoted by this just survive the day and this week employee mindset. And unfortunately, you're devaluing each day of your own life by thinking that what you have and what you have given is enough and a sufficient effort, when you know it isn't. So question 2, picking up from this employee mindset, where do you, and maybe this is not the answer for you, but where do you think, if it's not the employee mindset, where do you think you picked up this belief that you can just skate by every day? And that every day of your life, which is not guaranteed and a blessing, is okay to stifle. And again, if it wasn't the passiveness you picked up at your job, maybe it dates back even further into your childhood. Maybe it was just surviving through school. If there's one thing I see in common between adults and peers, is that most of us fail to step in to parenting ourselves as we left our childhood behind. And because we don't have ourselves to parent ourselves, to show up for the things that require us on a consistent basis, we diminish it and let ourselves off the hook. We downplay one day's worth of exercise. We downplay showing up for full effort today. We diminish the impact of each laying brick as if it doesn't disrupt the momentum that leads to the foundation of you. And if you needed $100 and you only had 99, only then would you realize the value of $1. And if you needed one more day to get to gold, we're always usually 3 inches away from gold and give up too early. Imagine what the momentum of those paused days, diminished days, downplayed efforts would result for us. That one more day that would have gotten you to 100. If we just remained on the job and kept the same level of consistency instead of this ebb and flow of the passivity that we've learned. Question 3. Other than brush your teeth, hopefully, and shower, hopefully, can you think of one thing that you do every day that you can't imagine not doing daily? Even if it's just showering every day that comes to mind. Let's add one activity before or after that, even if it's trivial, can serve as an example of the miracle of what can happen when you do something daily. Then let's use this small activity that we added. It can be something as simple as listening to a 5-minute thing or reading a quick 5-minute page over and over again. Hopefully something productive and positive. Then let's use this small activity as an example of how each day, added onto the last, can have such an incremental impact. Just adding one thing and seeing what that makes you if you do it every day. And then hopefully that spills over to other things. And there's a lot more I want to say, but I will stop there. At the least, I didn't want to devalue and diminish this one episode based off of how I'm feeling, as if delaying it or not doing it is acceptable. Because again, 1 turns to 2, turns to many. And before you know it, your standards have fallen tall heights. So show up anyway. Just the showing up consistently, every little bit of it matters. Make the next 111 days matter in their own right. Each one of them. See you in the next show.